And we are live for another day of coding. And if you just opened this video now and you're wondering what it is that you're looking at, I'm just sharing my journey that I've been on for a few years. I try to live stream every day and just show you what my progress is in learning to code. So I have been on the journey for a couple of years, and at this point I'm basically finishing up building a full stack application using ReactJS in Django. And so the application is actually a big project, and that big project is made up of, I would say, around 4 smaller apps. The first app that I'm trying to build here is a feedbacks app, which is shown here. The idea here is, and I believe this should be part of any product that anyone codes, anyone builds. When you build a product for users, you don't want to be guessing what features you need to build into your products. Ideally, you want to ask your users what it is that they want to see in your product and then build from that. So that's the idea behind this here. All it is basically a form where any user who is logged in can type in a short suggestion of what it is that they want to see, what type of feature they want to see in the app. They can suggest it, and then they can also upvote other people's suggestions. So that's what we have been working on for the past few days. It looks fairly simple, but it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. And so here we have some of the code that we have been working on. Okay. And the first thing I want to do here is just to go ahead and CD into the actual project that we are working on. So that's going to be CS50, let's see, and final project. Again, the course that I'm working on here is I would say, I guess, the follow-up course to the main CS50 course by Harvard. So they have a main course which you can take if you have zero background. They teach you everything from the very beginning all the way up to the basics of full stack development. Then after you finish that course, you can do like a specialty course, which is only on full stack dev, and that's the course that I'm working on now. So actually, I don't want to be here, so I'm gonna cd out. And what we want to do here is, wait a second. Yeah, so we want to activate our virtual environment. So that's just like that. Bin activate, and that's it. Hey, hello Farhan, you're back. And we run a server here. And if we reload it, now it should work. Okay, and if I click on feedback, this is where we left off last time. You know, we took like 1 day to make sure that it's all responsive, and then we took it another day to just to build it out, and okay, eventually it's looks like it's working okay, and I can type in something here, testing, let's see, this is testing 5, test number 5 live, and we can suggest a feature, and we see that that comes in at the bottom here. Now we still have a couple of issues to solve. For example, down here, it is the background is supposed to be a solid color the entire time, so it's not doing that right now. So I have to figure out why that is. That's one thing. Another thing is that I have got to figure out the like button system here. So if I click on it right now, it's not doing anything. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So let's take a look. Each of these buttons, so let's take a look first at our front end. So that would be this index HTML feedback, and all this index HTML has, literally all this thing has is one div. That is all this page has. This one div is blank, and then we use some JavaScript to present data inside of this one div. The JavaScript is a lot of code, and this is all in React. And so what's going on here is that somewhere we should have here some code that deals with these buttons. And some water. Okay, that seems about right. Okay. So inside of our use effect here, this is what is loading all these posts. Each post has this like button. And right off the bat, I'm almost noticing like there's nothing going on this button. Like it's just purely for looks. I don't think there's actually, like there's no action here. Let me take a look at the previous homework. In the network, we'll see whenever we load a button, we have something called a post like button. So we're gonna have to create something similar, because this is like what this is the React element or React component, which will handle the logic of sending a request to the server and upvoting a particular card here. And so I'm going to start by copying this code here, but I still need to define. So this is already after we've defined what a post like button is. Most likely this is being defined somewhere else. Let's see, maybe it's probably up here somewhere. See, it's a post like button. It's being defined up here with some props, and those props it would be like a post ID and something else. So let's start just with pasting, and I think I'm just going to do it above here in a separate div so that I can compare and then delete it. So we have this div here. Yeah, so we have the post like button, whatever, and you see that we are passing likes, we are passing a user liked, and we are passing a post ID, which if we go to our post like button at the top here, if we have it, which I'm not sure if we do. Oh, we do. I copied it from before, yeah. So we have a post like button which takes in the props, and again, this is kind of weird the way this. Maybe we can. I wonder. Yes, so now I'm looking at like the same file at the same time here. You see on both windows here. So that way I can look on the left here. I'll have my how I'm defining the button, and then I'll show here how I am using the button. So it's two different things, right? So we have here, this is the function which defines what a button is and the functionality associated with it. And over here, we can plug this in wherever we want to use the button. That's one of the cool things about React, that we can define it once and reuse it. And so you see that this post like button is taking likes. And so over here, I don't see it right now, but maybe because we deleted it, but we can use that data in here. And we are passing a post ID, which that we are using as props.post ID. That makes sense. Anything that we pass in here, see, we're defining here like a variable and saying equal, and then plugging in our data there from our post for loop. So whatever variable we define here, so to speak, once it goes inside of the post like button, that becomes a prop. So it would be a prop.post ID. All of these are passed all at once, basically, and then we can access them by it's not called tagging. I can't remember what the word is right now. By like closing in on them, like, with the dot syntax here. I'm going to go one more time back here to the index and take a look at the post like button again. And I see here that it's using a post ID. Yeah, I'm going to copy this whole thing because I'm noticing here, if you notice the last bracket at the bottom here is pink, and at the top here is pink. Not always, but in this case that means that this is all part of this one function called post like button, which is definition of our button. So I'm going to go to the feedback here and paste all of this. Which I'm noticing already that it's already in there. And so I guess the next step quickly here would be for me to find the appropriate graphics here. So I already know that this is appropriate here, like it's full, and then empty outline. Let's say thumbs up, special character, and I like using special characters. It's just easier. Um, thumbs up, special icon. I really don't like wasting time on this sort of thing. This is something I feel like really slowing me down. Thumbs up, outline, thumbs up. It's something that drives me nuts. The design. Like I spent so many years coding WordPress websites for people, and I wouldn't even call that coding because honestly I did it all on Elementor and I didn't know how to code in those days. So the bulk of the work in those days was just this like useless perfectionism of trying to find the perfect graphic and making sure everything was spaced with the perfect amount of pixels. Like I've wasted so much time doing that for people, and I'm not sure that it made a difference. Like had I spent half of the time on the project, I would have gotten paid the same. And so right now I'm not finding um what is it? Icon? Oh, emoji. Emoji. Let's see. Emojis. Let's just try and use one of these. Let's see. Thumbs. Thumb. Thumb up. Thumb down. Um, outline. Thumb up emoji. Now it is kind of important though, because this is the only way we have of showing. Alright, I don't really know right now. I don't know. This is frustrating. I really, I like the beauty and the like. It's fun to code and to figure things out. I find that very fulfilling. Like it's very fun and it's very fun, especially when like you're able to solve something for someone and they give you money for it. Like that's very special. But like trying to find freaking specific graphic online is very annoying. Um, and yeah. Like an empty thumb. I mean, I guess we could use a heart, but that's just like not really. Or we could just change the I think we'll just do that. We'll just change. Hold on a minute. Post like button. This class name is coming. I think something I must. Hold on a minute. This is feedback, and my feedback is coming from up here. Reload. Yeah, it's not even showing it, so it means that I have a problem over there. But outline. Let me see here for a second. Bootstrap. I guess another way is just leave the hand, leave it by itself, or leave it the way it is, and then for the what's it called, for the div, then we can change it. Let me see, for the actual button, then we could change it to, we're trying just to represent, that the current user has already liked it, so we have to change in terms of the user experience. You have to change something to make it obvious that something changed. So let me see here, the buttons, I guess we'll just use the outline. Yeah, we'll use this class here. So that'll be btn and then btn. Class btn is this. Let's try it. Okay, so we'll try it like this. And then, if the user likes it, so we'll change it. We'll make it so it's full already. Make sense? I think it makes sense. It's not the nicest design. And I see here that we still have a problem with this one here, which is showing underneath. Either we show all of them underneath or none of them underneath. Like, it can't be that some of them are horizontal and the other ones are vertical. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm not really sure how to fix that right now. Like, we kind of fixed it last time, but it's a problem again. Let's keep trying here. Trying. Login CSS. Honestly, I don't even remember. Oh, I think it was this one, the button primary. Let's see. Let's try 70 pixels. Nah. No, I can't remember what it was right now. I don't know. I guess I would have to inspect this here and come to the conclusion that perhaps I am better off with going back to mowing lawns and forget about computer science altogether. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just gonna leave it broken. Honestly, I don't know what else. Like, it's driving me nuts. It's like we fix one thing, and that all this is basically pointing to the fact that I'm not that good at CSS, and I've probably messed up my CSS here at some point, as you could see. And also, part of that is also the flex and the flex box, which interestingly, flex and flexbox was literally like one of the first things I ever learned in terms of coding many years ago, maybe like 3-4 years ago. Before I even took CS50, I was doing a different course, short course on HTML, and that's when I learned about flexbox. So I guess I used to be a little bit better at it. Now I'm less, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I really don't like it. Get me out of here. Just leave it broken. I don't know how to fix that right now. I can't even find the CSS file where that is even. Feedback card. It's somewhere in here. There's some value here that needs to be manipulated. Feedback form, card layout. I can't remember right now. Whatever. We'll fix it, I guess, later. And so let's get out of here. Let's do post.upvotes. That would be similar to post likes. Let's reload here. I think the problem might be that we have two pieces of code here. Or maybe that this is different. I don't know. Type button. What did I change here? BDM primary. I don't know. And so this I'm gonna delete for now. But I do want to copy this here, that my class will be that. And so my post like button eventually renders one of these two options. And so I don't know, I guess I want to do it like that, you know. If props user liked and whatnot, okay. And I want to delete that, I'm still showing it. Okay, now the app is about to really break for a minute before we're going to really break it, and then we're going to fix it and it's going to be good. But now you see all the buttons are gone. Okay. And so let's attack. In order for this to start working correctly, we need to figure out how we're passing these values. So we have the likes, post.upvotes. Let's look at our server and see what we're sending back. So we are sending this upvotes value. So in that respect, that should be accurate. And we are passing that into our post dot, which means that really does sound like it's part of this post feed map. And the post feed is, remember, our constant where we are saving data.posts. And data.posts is basically this here, this JSON. So data.posts, hold on, becomes posts, and then post becomes post. So post.upvotes is what we need to pass. Let's see that again. That's what we're passing here. Post.upvotes. This is correct. This is correct. Next, post ID would just be PK. So that would be post.pk. I think that's correct as well. And this user liked. User liked, let's see. This would be user liked. I'm not seeing that anywhere here. So I'm not even sure how I'm checking for that right now. 1 second. So user liked. So let's figure this out. How would we figure out if the user who's currently logged in already upvoted one of these cards? the first thing is we have to find if we have a like on the database from that particular user against that particular post. So we have feedback likes, okay? So I would just do all that up here. We already have the current user, so we want to see if feedback like that objects hold on, do it in here. So we want to see feedback again. Feedback like that objects dot get where the user here is, I believe it's a foreign key. But I believe that when it's like a foreign key like this, I believe that you're allowed to just pass the object. I think that's correct. Let me see here. I think that's correct, and if it's not, it's just then we can just PK it, like search for the user's PK instead of the actual object, but I think it should work. Let's see. So we have feedback like that objects that get where the user is equal to current user and feedback is equal to the posts here are an array of feedback objects. So meaning each post is a feedback. So then if each post is a feedback, that's what we just said here. So it's an equal in between, equal sign in between. And I believe that there's a special method here, which is dot exists, and I'm just kind of remembering this. And we can name all of this here. We have to save that somewhere. And so I would say index feedback. We can just save it in a variable called user liked, and I don't know, I believe that we can just go ahead and put that in there. I mean, we can just go ahead and put that right into the JSON response. So that's down there, and clean this up, clean it up, and that's it. So now we have this field here called user liked, which we are passing it to our front end. Our front end is using it and it's capturing over here in the post like button user liked. So we're telling the button is if the user has already liked it, and we're going to show a different button depending on that. So if the user liked, and the way to do that, I believe, is by calling this whole method here that exists on this whole thing here. Let's try it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we could try it. So you were getting a good error here. It says feedback like matching query does not exist. So the first thing I would check is if I have a typo in my models. So feedback like Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask the ChatGPT because I'm not sure if that's the correct syntax, but that's exactly what ChatGPT is for. It's not to help you figure out the homework, or it's not to help you figure out what to build. I mean, maybe it is, I'm not sure, but in this particular case, it's just to, we know what we decide and we figure out what we want to build, but use the AI to kind of guide us with the syntax. Yeah, so I got this here. Hold on. I want to pass either true or false for user liked. And the following. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Code. Yeah, this is perfect. So we had, I guess, a little bit of an error here, or typo here. Yeah, so we need to put in this feedback like objects dot filter instead of get. And the AI is saying here that it's because otherwise it's going to raise an exception and it's going to raise, it's going to throw an error over there and whatnot. So let's reload. And I guess we're still in business here. So, our cards are here. We still don't see any buttons, but we're going to get to it in a minute. It's still broken, but we're not getting any errors here in terms of the database and the server. So it seems to be working okay. Let's go back to our index feedback. Just to recap, we have some logic here. Upvotes we're passing through. This owner ID, we're going to pass that through later. So post dot user, hold on. Post dot user dot ID, or PK in that case, equals, if it's equal to the currently logged in, then it'll say it's is owner. So we technically don't need to pass this one because we are already running the logic to check if the currently logged in user is the owner. So we don't need to run that logic in the JavaScript front end. We're doing that all within this Django return here. And so I'm just reviewing here again. This is a bit of a copy paste from a previous homework, which was more of a social networking site, very similar to Facebook. And if you think about it, the functionality here is kind of similar to just like a regular post feed of any social media, but in this case, this is not a social media. Obviously, I'm just doing it for for people to submit feedback. But so yeah, I need to delete a couple just to make sure I don't have too many things here that I don't need. So in progress, I am passing this because that's what's going to give us our in progress up here. Is owner is going. I'm going to run some logic in the front end to decide whether or not to show a button. Upvotes is going to give us the number over here of upvotes. User liked will give us the color of the button. Description is down here, title is up here, and PK is the post PK, which we are going to pass to the button, so that when the button sends the request to the server, he's going to send that PK with it, so we know which post to like and unlike. So I believe that, for now, this is correct here. And let's take one more look over here at our button. And so we are in the index feedback. And so again, we have our post upvotes. That makes sense. The button will display that. The user like will give us the color of the button. The post ID, the button will use again to send to the server eventually. Are we missing anything here? User like we sent. Upvotes is okay. Is owner. So in the is owner, we can go ahead and start writing that conditional here. So I'm gonna write these brackets here, and then we can check. So again, we only want to display this button only if the person is not the user, in which case we can say post dot is owner. So if the person who wrote the card here is the user who is logged in, then we will not display anything. So that's just empty brackets like this. Else, we want to display this whole div here with a button. Now that might bring a couple of new problems because I'm not really sure I've been writing randomly in here, just messing with the database and writing these cards on my own. So I actually don't know if the owner ID and the ID which I'm logged in here is the same. So anyways, I can manipulate that easily just to play around with it, but let me just play around with it right now because we wouldn't know if the code here is working if it's just locking us out because we're using our dev account is the same as the data. It doesn't make any sense. So I want to just go ahead and display, I guess, the user ID for a second here. Although I guess that I took that out. Yeah. Let's just before the post title here, I just want to quickly type in here post.isOwner and then reload. I don't see anything here. Hold on. Post.isOwner. I mean, that should work. If it doesn't work, then we have a problem here. And so user.pk is see, this is the thing with coding. Like sometimes you're trying to do one thing, and then it's so comprehensive. You have to go and fix code that is, the scope is so wide. Like we keep going back and forth between the database and the back end just to fix one little button here. You know what I mean? So it's unlike WordPress where you can just drag and drop a button using a plugin like Elementor, or using different, like if you're running on Wix, it's very easy to manipulate it, but then you can't control the logic. So the boolean is post dot user dot pk is equal to request dot user dot id. So it could be many things here. I'm not sure right now. Hold on. So post.user.pk, I don't even know if that's accurate anymore. Because, and it should work. Post dot, again, user.pk equals. That's going all the way from up here, request.user dot id, and so the current user, hold on, the current user would be here, and then we'll take out the pk. Let's try that. User liked, feedback like, RS owner, post.user. Current user.pk. And hold on, so the views network, no, index feedback. So I'm not sure why I'm not seeing that in there. Maybe because it only lets one thing in there. Let's see. I'll make another P here, really. Let's try that. Oh no, it stopped working altogether. Hold on. I pasted the wrong thing there. So post is owner. Let's see. And yeah, I guess what I need to do is find a way to run just this small amount of code independently somewhere. Let me know in the comments if you know what would be the best way of doing that. To test this bit of code here. I guess we can use a shell, so let's try that. Python manage py shell, and then from users import, from users.models import all, from feedback.models import all, and then we're gonna head out and do we want to get one post, so let's just get the post is equal to feedback dot objects dot get, where I guess where the pk equals 2. And if we click post, we have this, we post that title, we have test2. So we got this one here for a minute. And if we type in post dot user, so it gives me the object. And if we type in post dot user dot pk, it gives me 3. So then up here, that's literally what I wrote here, post dot user dot pk. I'm gonna head back here because I did have request.user.id. I mean, let's say that it's 3, right? So if I just copy that into here, like that, so it would be a boolean where post, and I want to save that into answer. So I'm testing here. I have a boolean of post.user.pk. If that is equal to 3, and it should give us true. So it is true. So I guess all we've really tested is that this part of the code is correct. Now the next part is this bit correct? And I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm very, very positive. You know, that request.user.id but the weird thing is that where else are we using? Oh, we're using it over here. Feedback like object user liked. And so current user. We can just go ahead and check directly current user, as we saw over there. So we can not check for the ID, check for the user. And the same here. We can get rid of this. So if the post.user is equal to the current user, that'll give me a value. Let's reload here. Why is that not passing it though? The only thing that I can imagine here is that, you know, this has to be saved. This has to be saved somehow. And so we would have to do it like this. That would be the only weird thing, nuance here, which is technically we're running a method here. Although we're also running a method here, so I'm not sure. But for some reason, maybe we have to save it first and then pass it. Let's see. No, it's still not working. True. Now, I mean, the only thing I could think of now is that this is just passing a Boolean. And so the Boolean is not a string. So whenever we try to present it in our front end here, meaning it's a Boolean will be a value that we can use to run logic, but it's not a Boolean, which we can display as a string, which means that we have to figure out convert Boolean to string in Python. Let's see. Alright, so let's undo what we wrote here. I think that's what the issue really is here. And so this whole Boolean, we're going to put it in these parentheses here. And we're going to write str. And so what this is doing is converting this value into an actual string. And let's see if it works now. You see now it works. Now we have false, true, false, whatever. True, true. Okay, so we learned something. That this Boolean here is just data, but it's not like we need to convert it to a string. Okay. But we're gonna go now and delete that because we need the actual Boolean. We don't really need the string. This is just for the testing. So all I'm testing here is that we should be okay. At least we have one card which is like false. So once we write the logic, we should be able to see like buttons on all of these. Or sorry, we should be able to see a like button only for the top one and not for the bottom ones, because the bottom ones, the only reason they say true is because the user who is currently logged in here is the author of each card. Therefore, he's not allowed to like his own cards. Okay, and let's see what else we got here. I think with that, we can call it a day in terms of our coding session for today. It's been about an hour. I do like hopefully soon we're gonna start doing 2-hour sessions like how we used to do in the summer. But for now, at least we managed to do some debugging, figure out exactly the data that we need to pass to our front end. Hopefully tomorrow we will be looking at actually implementing these buttons and actually making them work In the meantime, thank you for joining the live stream. I hope you are well and that you also are making progress in your coding journey. If you have any questions, put them on the comments here. I try my best to answer the best I can and to give the best advice that I can. And see you in the next coding session.